Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time. I'm Dzuhri, also known as Mr. Dzuhri to some of you. Okay, so today I'm going to try to do something slightly different from the usual videos. It's driving with Mr. Dzuhri today. And I was thinking about what are the suitable topics to talk about. And so I think one of the topics that I would like to talk about today or in this drive is about exams and life, because the students for the P6s especially, they are taking their prelims very soon, and a lot of students are taking their weighted assessments. Basically the test season is around the corner, and I would like to talk about exams and tests and life full of exams and full of tests, and also why are people stressed about exams, and why I think it's good to have a little bit of stress in life. Let me check my blind spot here first when I turn. Okay. So is it important to have exam, to have tests in the first place? Of course. I think having tests, having exams, it gives you the opportunity to see where you are in terms of the understanding of a certain subject or a certain concept. Like for example, if you are learning science about the life cycle of plants, of animals, you've learned it, but what's a better way, what's a good way to see whether you fully understand, fully grasp the concept, is through tests, through exams. And I think test or exam in the primary school life or secondary school life for that matter, it is a necessary rigor to have for students, for everyone, because it doesn't just sort of test your knowledge or test your expertise about the particular subject or particular concept, but I think it's also a very important life skill to deal with the stress of going through with the test or the exam. Now, why is that so? Because this year is 2026, okay, I'm 44 this year, 44 years old, and I think I've gone through life enough to know that every day there are tests or there are exams in life. Okay, we cannot run away from tests. We cannot escape from any exams of life. Every day is a test. Waking up at a particular time, being disciplined, is a test. You know, you hear your alarm bells ringing, and your phone, you set an alarm at a particular time. Do you hit the snooze? Maybe you can hit it once or twice, just to catch up on just a couple of minutes of sleep. And I'm sure that few minutes of sleep is very, very satisfying, even though it can be very tiring when you eventually wake up from the snooze. But that aside, when you wake up, you go to school, on your way to school, there's a lot of different tests that can happen. And like for me, for example, the test is when I drive to work from home. Whether you are in a good mood or whether you're in a positive mood or a negative mood, you get into the car. You have to be safe. It's a test for you, right? For me, it's a daily test. It's a daily stress for me to drive from home to work, and vice versa, from work back home. Yeah, so every day is exam. And are we gonna feel stressed about it every single day? I think a little bit of stress is good. Previous video I talked about staying calm. If you can click on the link you'll be directed to the video, or the link is in the description as well. I'll put it, the link. Staying calm. And now, one of the reasons why I'm doing this video is also because of my kids. It is weighted assessment season for them now, right? And I can see that they are feeling stressed. Okay, and what happens to your body when you get stressed, right? Sometimes, for myself, I will perspire, I'll get anxious, my heart will beat fast. Sometimes I could even fall sick. And I think the same thing is happening to my kids. When you feel stressed, or when they feel stressed, their body react in such a way that, the body shuts down, right? So I will try to tell them that, it's normal. It's perfectly normal to be stressed about tests, stressed about life, stressed about doing well. Because in the previous video also I mentioned that it's good to be stressed, and because you care that you want to do well. If you don't care about doing well for something, right, you won't feel the stress, right? Blind spot, again, it's very important to check your blind spot. For those of you who are learning to drive, okay, blind spot, check your blind spot. You don't know what is at the, maybe a bike or a bus or a car might be creeping up at your blind spot. So check before you signal, before you change lane, or before you turn. Okay, be safe. And so what was I saying? I was saying about being stressed is good. Being a little bit stressed is good. Being too stressed is not good. And seeing my kids falling sick, it shows that they care. But I think falling sick is not the right, not the ideal outcome that you would want from being stressed, right? So, as a father, how would I advise my kids to stay calm? Okay, because I think, as with most kids, or for most of us adults as well, we want to do well. We do not want to disappoint. Like when I was a kid, or when I was a student, I did not want to disappoint my parents. Okay, I want them to feel proud of me. And I think it's very important for us to also acknowledge the effort, right? It's not easy at this day and age, with all the distractions that you have all around you, your social media, your games. Not that back then when I was a student, I don't have any distractions. There's a lot of distraction, but I'm thankful enough that I'm not really a game person. I'm not a gamer. I do play games with my brother, like football games or Street Fighter, those kind of games. But I'm not really addicted to it. Yeah, I'm not addicted to it. So, with the distractions nowadays, it's really hard for one to really be focused. And it's one thing to try to stay focused, and then there's as another to be distracted by all the things that are around you, right? And so I would advise my kids and my students that while it is good to be stressed, to want to perform well, to want to do well for your test or exam, it is also very important to take care of ourselves and take care of our mind, our mental health, and our well-being as well. Okay, and what is the best way to cope with the stresses of life, with the stresses of exams? Like what are your coping mechanisms? Okay, guys, comment in the comment section below. How do you cope with stress? What do you do? Do you take walks? Do you exercise? Do you what's your hobby that you do to take your mind off this stress? So as a father, as a dad, as a husband, I try to take my family out on walks, hikes, cycling, because nothing beats being in nature, right? Nature, I think, I've read somewhere, I've watched a YouTube video about walking in nature, hiking in the being in nature, like for example MacRitchie Reservoir or even Bukit Batok Nature Park. Being in such a natural environment is actually very, very good for the body, the environment itself, because we are always surrounded by concrete and we are surrounded by fumes, by pollution here and there, everywhere. Okay, blind spot again, check. We're merging it onto the highway right now. Okay, let's keep to the speed limit, which is 90 kilometers per hour, by the way. And this stretch here at BKE, there is the camera, speed camera, so we need to be careful, right? Yeah, so what are your coping mechanisms, right? Okay, for me, yep, cycling. I think it's not about the quantity, I think it's about the quality. Take walks every now and then. Go to nature, go for a hike, play football. I'm sure a lot of you guys, boys especially, play football. Although I've seen a very sporty girl in the school that I teach in. I think she's in primary 6. Yep. She plays football with the boys during recess, and I think that is really, really awesome. Okay, to see a girl mixing it, roughing it up with the boys, playing football. And the wonderful thing is that the boys actually treat her as equal. No, there's no, just because you're a girl, we're gonna play nice or not. No. So it's really nice. It's really awesome to see things like that. They respect her. She respects them. Of course, there's and they know their boundaries. That's the thing. They know their limits as to, you know, the good touch and all that kind of stuff. It's all they do it really, really well. So sometimes when I'm on duty during recess last year, yeah. So playing football, exercising is a good way to cope. And I'm not sure whether gaming is a good way to cope, because you are also stressed. But I think there are people who cope with their stress by playing games. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think you have to limit yourself, because sometimes you feel shook, right? You're so glued, you're so engrossed, and you're invested in the game that you actually forgot, oh, actually I'm just supposed to, rest for 15-30 minutes to play this game. But before you know it, you're already like 2 hours into the game, and that is not ideal. Yeah, so watch out for that. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I will back to what I will tell my kid, right? Especially and my students. Okay, take deep breath. Again, the video. Stay calm. Take deep breath. I think don't worry too much about the outcome. Yeah, just when you are in the test, when you are in the exam room, in the situation where the rigor, the test rigor, I think the best way is to just tell yourself to stay calm, take deep breath, many deep breaths, and just remember what your teachers, your parents have told you, or even maybe your tutors have told you in preparation for the exam. I mean, it's not as if you guys didn't prepare for it. It's not as if we do not prepare for a certain test or certain exam. We prepared, right? And through that preparation, it should give us that confidence to attempt the test in a decent manner. And don't worry about the outcome. Of course, we want to do well, right? We really want to do well, but don't beat yourself up too much, or don't even beat yourself up if things don't go your way, and if you find some a difficult question, go on to the next one, right? Go on to the next one, come back to that, and I think you'll be better off to just do the questions that you know well, that you have prepared well, and then come back to the questions that you're not sure towards the end after you check. Yeah, and I think a lot of students are stressed, perhaps because they do not have time to check, or they second guess themselves. I think whatever that you think is the answer, of course you have to annotate and eliminate, especially in multiple choice and all that. Annotate, eliminate, from your understanding, and yeah, be confident with your choice. You have done well, you have prepared well, you have put in so much effort, and yeah, just leave it at that. All right, don't be too stressed out. Like I said, of course you want to impress your parents, you want to do well, which we totally understand. Being a parent, I wanted to impress my parents when we were when I was a student back then. I want them to feel proud. I want to do well and achieve. I want to achieve something. I want to be proud of something that I could achieve. And one of the ways as a student to do that is via exams, right? You get to, and of course you reward yourself, right? Reward yourself for the effort that you have put in. Okay, don't restrict yourself to wait. Okay, I will only reward myself if I score a certain marks. Or yeah, of course there should be a reward at the end for the result, but you have to reward yourself for the effort as well, right? For the effort, that counts, because in life, your weighted assessment, your prelims, that is not the be all and end all. I always tell my students, I've been form teacher of P6 for this is the second stint of being form teacher of P6 class, and I keep telling them that P6 PSLE is not a be all and end all. Let me just quote an example, right? I have a friend, a junior, right, 2 years junior. We were from the same school, and then we went to the same secondary school. So her PSLE score only allow her to go to a normal academic stream. So normal academic in today's talk is G2, right? Because now G3 is your express, G2 is so she did well enough to go into the G2 normal academic. But did she accept the fact that, okay, I'm just a G2 student, I'm going to just stay this G2 student for the rest of my secondary school life? No. In fact, she did so well in Sec 1 that in Sec 2 she was transferred. Okay, the teachers transferred her to the G3 level, or the G3 stream, or the express stream. And then when she was in Sec 3, she was in the good class. We call it, I think, the pure class, because you have to take pure bio, A maths, right? Pure physics, pure chem. So she's in the top class, right? So, but who would have known? Who would have imagined, right, that she would, from a G2 student, from a normal academic student, transferred or being brought over to the express stream and doing so well, and she ended up trialing for JC. At that time you can trial for 3 months at the JC. She was doing very, very well. So I will remind my students, this is a true story, and I will always repeat this story to my P6 students. If I were to ever get a chance to be a form teacher of a P6 student again, a form teacher of a P6 class again, I will tell them this story. P6 is not the be all and end all. If you don't do well in your P6 for your PSLE, don't be discouraged. Alright, some of us are late bloomers. We develop slightly later than others. I mean, for me, I think I didn't imagine myself to be a teacher, right? I didn't do particularly well in secondary school or in poly or even in primary school. I was very disappointed with my own PSLE result. But life goes on, right? Life goes on. I go to secondary school. I try to do my best. I think the most important thing is, in life, you have to enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, trust the process, and don't worry about the destination, right? If I'm someone who believes in fate and destiny. Okay, if you're meant to be somewhere, come what may, you will end up in that position that you are fated to be in. And if you don't like whatever that you are in, whatever state, whatever job that you are in, change. You can always change. Don't. Change is the only constant. All right, change is the only constant. So don't be afraid of change. But the only thing that I can summarize, or to conclude this video, is do your best, put in the effort, do the reps, and don't give up. Okay, persevere. Okay, maybe that's one of the value that we can talk about today. Persevere. If you don't do well, persevere. because efforts will be rewarded at the end. You don't simply just give up because you don't do well for something, right? If you don't do well for something, learn from the mistake, try not to repeat the mistake, listen to good advice that has been given to you, and I think you will do well in life. Alright, you will do well in life. And just chill, enjoy the journey, and don't worry about the destination too much. Alright, thank you for joining me in this first episode of Driving with Mr. Dzuhri. I'll see you soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment in the comment section your questions. Alright, see you guys soon.